The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sportsbook. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Turnpike Sports Book Report. We're going to be talking about the state and national sports betting numbers that have been coming out over the past week. We got a bunch of launches to talk about, Colorado, Virginia, even some more some news coming with Canada's launch today on April 4th.
Yeah, that's a big day in Canada.
That's going to be fun to watch, see how that goes.
If you're a gambler in Canada, this is your Independence Day, Christmas Day, whatever holiday, we're all wrapped up into one. It's everything.
I don't know if you want to call it, independence in terms of the independent operator, sure.
I'm just talking about the celebratory mood of it, kind of thing.
We've got also some legislative updates, especially a Massachusetts legislative survey for sports betting.
A survey, okay.
Of senators.
Okay.
So, because everyone's wondering why Massachusetts has not.
Well, simply
launched
put,
sports
everyone
betting.
wants it in Massachusetts, but a few people don't, and they're the few people that, I guess, have the loudest voice, and there's no sports betting in Massachusetts. And I got to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, we'll go through
soon.
the numbers when we get to that point in the show here.
Yeah.
Also, we got a bunch of deals to talk about. PointsBet, we've got Genius Sports, we've got a Pala Interactive deal with Boyd to talk about, if we have time, some other deals that happened as well. Let's start off with numbers. And every week, I think we're starting off almost just about every week talking about New York.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
According to the last figures, and this is for the week ending March 25th, this is up to that point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
New York has gone over the $1 billion mark in online sports betting handle in each of its first 3 months in business.
Pretty impressive.
January was 1.67, February 1.53 billion, and March was just 1.15 billion. Do you see a decrease happening, or am I kind of nuts here?
Yeah. I mean, that's, certainly it's happening. I mean, I guess fall would be the biggest time for sports betting, and it kind of culminates in like big January numbers, and February seems to be kind of sliding down a little bit, but I guess that's the trend.
It's going to be very curious.
Don't get us wrong, the New York numbers are really strong.
They're incredible.
They're absolutely incredible. I guess the next state we're waiting for, which will be a game changer, is possibly California. I guess
that
they're
may not
kind of
happen
gettle
for
closer.
A while. That's little by little they're getting there.
It might be on the November ballot in California,
unless the lawsuit affects it. That's going on there.
We'll see. That's the next big state.
Yeah, but staying in New York, I'm very curious to see how this market handles the baseball season. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be starting up soon. Football, they're going to set records all over again when football starts up again. But right now, at the end of the week ending March 25th, it was also reported that FanDuel became the first mobile operator in the state to reach $100 million in revenue.
That's impressive.
That's very impressive because I don't think FanDuel has done that in
and
what was
January 8th? That's when everything started in New York?
And this isn't even the full amount of March we're talking about.
Yeah.
So they hit the $100 million mark in revenue. Draftkings, I think we talked about this in the last book report. We didn't have the numbers handy because we taped before the numbers came out. But again, confirming it, DraftKings became the third New York mobile sports betting operator to hit the $1 billion handle mark.
Okay.
We've got FanDuel. Had $1.5 billion, 1.55 billion. That actually almost matches the January handle for the entire mobile industry. But FanDuel, $1.55 billion in handle. Caesars New York had $1.14 billion, and DraftKings at the time of this report was about $1.06, $1.1 billion in handle.
Okay.
I mean, New York is just a juggernaut right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The 8 New York online bookmakers have combined for a $4.35 billion handle statewide.
Impressive. Very impressive.
It's an incredible amount of money that's coming in. So $4 billion in 3 months. I guess you can say 3 months, right?
Yeah.
So kind of interesting numbers. I noticed There are some shifting in terms of who's 1, 2, and 3. I'm waiting to see where Caesars ends up when BetMGM hits its full stride.
Okay.
Because right now it's still FanDuel, DraftKings number 1 and number 2. Caesars began the entire industry number 1 for the first 2-3 weeks.
They were advertising everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
And when they cut down the blitz, the ad blitz,
everything kind of settled. Everything.
They
the
actually
dust
have
settled.
gone from first, second down to third. We'll see exactly where they end up when everything really starts to settle. I still think this market's too new, and we're going to see some more shifting positions.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see Rush Street, see where they end up with all this, especially after the Francesa deal. I wonder if that's going to really impact
I can't wait.
it.
Can't wait. I think we talked about this last week.
Yes.
It was Francesa's doing a podcast for him.
He's doing a twice-weekly podcast as
Mike
well as
Francesa.
appearances.
Yeah.
Well, hey, he's got a big following in the New York,
Oh,
New Jersey,
hey, I grew up with
area.
him. I grew up
Yep.
listening to him. So
And
absolutely.
with Rush Street having all 4 states there, you got Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. Mm-hmm. That's an incredible listener base he's got in that region alone.
Sure, should do well.
So we'll see exactly if that boosts RSI at all. Going over to Nevada, we'll hit some more numbers here. February marked the first time in the post-PASPA era that Nevada sportsbooks were held under a 5% hold rate for 3 consecutive months.
Huh, okay.
I've never heard of Nevada having that low a hold rate before for that long a time here. I mean, avoid the COVID months. Don't count those.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to see Nevada in, I don't want to call it a slump.
No. It just
The handle is great.
The
handle
market is
continues
realigning itself. I
If
guess
you
that's
wanna
what
say it that
marketers
way.
are telling people.
If you want to say it that way, that's fine.
Yeah. So.
All-time gross gaming operator revenue. This is for everybody, not just sports betting, but overall. $8 billion in the post-PASPA era.
Okay, this is national, right?
No, this is Nevada.
Oh, did Nevada? Okay.
Their gross gaming sports betting operator revenue surpassed $8 billion in since May of 2018.
Okay.
So the new era of sports betting, if you want to call it that. And also with Nevada's February report, overall gaming. February marks the 12th straight month of $1+ billion gaming revenue. And that's everything. Right. That's slots, that's table games, that's sports betting, that's a whole bunch of every aspect of the gaming industry. $1 billion or more, 12 straight months.
Okay.
That's an incredible run right there
as
well.
Oh, yeah, no, it's great.
Had some other numbers coming in from some of the other states. I just want to hit a couple of highlights here. Colorado, they're in the middle of their fiscal year. They're 8 months into their fiscal year. They just passed the $3.2 billion mark in total handle for the state. Mm-hmm. That's an incredible number. They may hit probably another $5 million by the time this fiscal year is over. I know they did $5 million last fiscal year.
Oh yeah, no, Colorado's a great market. I mean, don't they now? I think someone told me that they now have the most sports books in their state.
As a matter of fact, it's a launch that we are going to be talking about.
Oh,
Might as well talk about it right now. Tie it all together.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Betson launch its mobile app sportsbook in Colorado. BetSafe.
Okay,
that's the name of the brand they're using in Colorado.
So what number is that now?
That is the 26th book.
Okay, and that's got to be
most in any state.
Most in any state. Okay.
Also, part of the release from this month for February, Colorado released their Super Bowl numbers.
Okay.
$41 million handle for the Super Bowl.
All right.
30% more than the previous year.
Good.
And as always, when we talk about Colorado, there's one sport we always hit.
Okay, get it over with. But table tennis, is that what we're talking about?
Table tennis.
Table tennis. What are they? Number
7.
7. Okay, last month or 2 months ago they were 6.
Before
they were 5.
Last month in January, I believe they were 8th.
Okay, all right.
But before that, they were 5th and 6th.
5th and 6th. I don't get it. Hey, if they like betting on table tennis, whatever, good for them. I can't get into it. So.
The table tennis handle for the month of February was $7.2 million.
Okay.
99% of that was online.
Okay.
And I was looking at the list of the top sports. Basketball was the leader, an overall handle. But when you look down the list, you get to ice hockey, which is number 5. You have tennis, number 6. Okay. Table tennis, number 7. And then you have NCAA football betting.
I guess the futures and stuff.
I guess so.
Like that,
it was about 50,000 under table tennis. So table tennis beat out NCAA football in February.
Well, it's February, so.
Yeah, I guess you can. Yeah. One note to hit right before we move on to some of the other launches and also talk about Canada. The USFL has confirmed that you can bet on the league in 15 states.
Okay.
The list, if you want it.
Okay, I want to know if I can bet on it in New Jersey.
New Jersey.
All right,
Pennsylvania.
Great. Perfect. Awesome.
Nevada, Iowa, West Virginia, Oregon, Delaware, Connecticut, New Hampshire, New Mexico, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and North Dakota. Do you see one state that's obviously missing?
Well, we were just talking about it, the one with the most sports books. I don't see Colorado. Is that what you're talking about? Because I'm looking at for Colorado. I don't see Colorado on that list.
I was thinking New York.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Well, I think
I mean, they have another month right now to get everything on. So New York and Colorado may be jumping on that list.
I'm just very curious to see if actually New York allows the USFL betting, because otherwise, do you really see New York bettors going to New Jersey to bet USFL?
Probably not. But
I don't think it's going to really affect anything.
Is there even a New York team? There's a New Jersey team. I don't think there's a New York team.
There's
for
a
USFL.
New Jersey and a Philly team, but I don't know if there's a New York. I don't even know if there's an upstate New York. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah,
there never was one before.
But like I said, there's another month before USFL starts, so I'm sure more states are going to be added there.
Well, we'll just see. What happens with New York. I'm assuming New York. And I think, did I say Arizona in that list? Arizona did not have
I did not see Arizona. I don't see Washington, D.C.
I hate to say it this way, but who cares about D.C.?
Oh, wow. Well, people in D.C. care about
they
DC.
go to Virginia to bet.
Well, is it Virginia is not on
there either. So I just saw that list.
There
okay.
You go. So.
All right. Well, there are a couple states got to get off their duffs and get some USFL betting on the books for their. I don't know how big an impact the USFL is going to have on the betting industry, though.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
It's something to pass the time.
Speaking of Virginia, we have the 14th sportsbook launching in Virginia.
Okay.
Hard Rock Sportsbook has been given the go live order in Virginia, so they're now up and running.
Okay.
That's 14 books in Virginia. They're online only.
Wow, 14, really?
14.
Oh, all right.
So Virginia is slowly expanding, growing, whatever you want to call it. Still got a long way to go to catch up to New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Colorado over there with the 26.
Yeah, Colorado is leading.
I think New Jersey is somewhere between 20 and 23.
I don't know.
New Jersey's not far behind Colorado.
I honestly haven't sat down and counted the amount of sports books in New Jersey, so it's a lot. It's a lot. It's confusing. I have a lot in my phone.
Oh, yeah.
I have to check to see how many I have on my phone.
I'm running out of memory on my phone to run these things.
Yeah.
Before we move on I want to get to the legislative survey in Massachusetts because it's just fun to talk about that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Canada launched today, April 4th.
Yeah.
In Ontario, and this was actually a very, very smart thing the Ontario Gaming Commission did. The Responsible Gambling Council announced that its RG Check accreditation program is now part of the requirements for any sportsbook or any sportsbook platform to launch.
Good.
In the state.
Good.
Most states don't have this as part of their
when you say states,
requirements.
You mean provinces?
I'm talking about anywhere. I'm talking about compared to U.S. Compared to U.S. They don't have this kind of setup most of the time in terms of responsible gambling. This is becoming a really big issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
And especially with March here ending.
Well, look, Paul Burns is going to come on the show pretty soon. He's going
to talk about all these
from
things.
From Canada. He's the top,
president of the Canadian Gaming Association.
I was going to say the top gambling poobah.
He's one of them.
Should I introduce him like that?
You want to? That's fine with me. That's
probably
up
the last
to him.
time he comes on the show.
But again, we got a whole bunch of sports books and sports betting platforms launching. I think we got about 30 entities. Just recently, when I was preparing for this, we had Kindred announced they got a license. Let's see. We have FSB received approval. We have Rush Street Interactive saying not only are they launching, but they are the first sports betting entity to receive that RG check iGaming accreditation from the Gaming Council.
Yeah, the great thing about Canada is it's not only sports betting.
No, it's iGaming.
iGaming, it's poker.
Yes.
It's online poker.
Yep.
Oh, my God, online poker. Believe it or not.
And we have, like I said, Kindred got it. They're going to have Unibet up there for both casino and sports betting.
Yep.
Sport Radar announced that they did receive their licensing
Good.
to launch in Canada. So it's going to be almost a fully formed sports betting industry in Ontario. It's going to mirror like some of these other, like New Jersey, Colorado.
I keep, in my interviews, people from Canada, I mean, what's the hot spot in gambling in Canada? And they all say it's Ontario. Yeah, it's Ontario. I'm not going to say it's the Vegas of the North, but
no.
you know, it's a pretty big area if you're a sports bettor or an iGamer or whatever you call yourself.
Again, this is going to be a very interesting market to watch. I wonder if Ontario is going to be comparable to what they're thinking California is going to be like.
Who knows?
I mean, I saw what some people referred to
this
California
market,
as the holy grail of sports betting.
Holy grail of
I don't know how accurate that statement is. I think New York may be the better.
It's the most populous state.
It's also got the most professional sports teams that are going to be running their own sports betting entities. So, again, we'll see exactly. But I wonder if Ottawa is going to be an indication of what California is going to be like.
Well, it's such a new market. It's I mean, in its infancy. So in Canada, so we'll see how it grows.
Well, now, do you want to have fun and talk about Massachusetts and why these guys just can't get sports betting launched?
Yeah.
I still don't understand.
I guess you can talk about it. I mean, it's not worth a lot of breath because they're not really doing anything.
I have to admit, I thought doing a legislative survey was actually a very smart idea. Mm-hmm. But after seeing these results, I am more confused than ever as to why this hasn't passed yet.
Okay.
According to the Massachusetts State House News Service, they did a survey of all the senators in the state. 60% of state senators support legalizing Massachusetts sportsbooks.
Yeah, of course.
24 senators support legalizing sports betting. 8 said they were either undecided, non-committal, or had no comment. And none of them responded that they were opposed to legalizing sports betting in the state. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make any sense that they can't get it passed.
Look, Massachusetts is the corporate headquarters for Draftkings, so I'm very surprised that this hasn't moved a little quicker in Massachusetts, and I don't even see it moving at all in Massachusetts. You can do all the surveys you want, but unless the bill gets passed and by both houses and signed by the governor, nothing's going to happen. Well, and I don't see it happening either.
It's one of those things where I just don't understand the Senate itself. I mean, there's got to be some kind of motivation for some of these senators not to want to talk about it, not to want to vote on it, not to want to agree upon anything with it.
Yeah.
And they're losing out on so much money with New Hampshire, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island.
In a couple of years,
Maine is moving forward.
In a couple of years, they're going to have to do it. I mean, right now they're almost surrounded by states with sports betting. So and they're losing money. And I think there was another survey you told me. I think it was New Hampshire that I don't know how many percentage of the people that were betting on the Super Bowl or March Madness were actually from Massachusetts who had to drive to New Hampshire.
I think it was like 26% of those betting up in New Hampshire.
That's a lot of money.
That's
addresses. Money that Massachusetts is losing. So,
well, again, if they want to, they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it.
Whatever.
You can't force somebody to vote some way. But I would think they want to stay away from losing all this money.
All right, we'll see.
Said a couple deals before we get out of here for the week. PointsBet announced a partnership with NBC Sports Chicago to launch a 3-game series of betcasts.
I love those things. They're fun watching betcasts for basketball and golf. I think where did they have a golf pod? Peacock. Yeah, that was great. Well, they have the deal with NBC Sports, which allows them to do all these different types of ideas. They test it out. The betcast they did for golf was great. Yeah,
I have yet to see the basketball betcast.
I have. I mean, it's great. It's
the PointsBet ones, or
I don't know what it was. It was I think it was NBC. So I'm not sure if
it was
PointsBet
NBC Sports. It was PointsBet.
But no, there was the stats are there. Someone takes a shot and goes in, and on the screen it tells you how many points he has so far, and so that's really great. If you're betting on that game, it really keeps you up to date on how you're doing in the bet.
Well, they're going to be doing 3 betcasts for the Chicago Bulls.
All right.
And it looks like all 3 are going to be with the Washington Wizards. So there's going to be a dual betcast between Chicago and the Washington, NBC Sports Washington. So they're going to be doing 3 games. They're doing live odds. And they're also going to be alternating the announcers, too. They're going to have some with the NBC Chicago guys, some with the NBC Washington guys, and I think one of them is actually going to split them up or something, or alternate. So it'll be kind of interesting to watch how the betcast happens, occurs. I mean, they're becoming commonplace,
especially if you have that option of the big thing now is was the same game parlays.
Yes,
and if you have an option of like. Cashing out, that's always a great feature when you watching a bet cast, and you know when to bail, and you know when to make an in-play bet. So it kind of helps you. More stats, more information always helps making bets.
Well, the one thing that puts PointsBet at a major advantage over some of the other books, and they're going to catch up, is that situation where PointsBet has figured out how to get rid of that latency issue for the data. So they have that live same game parlay stuff going on. They've got for these things, they're going to have futures odds, player props, over under, and moving money lines throughout the broadcasts. So they're going to be increasing the data feed more so than anything else. The bet types, they really can't change the types of bets you're going to be seeing. They're just going to be able to update the odds a lot quicker than a lot of other books.
The information you need. I mean, especially in the same game parlays. I mean, if you have some player that you're betting on and getting a certain amount of points, like in a halftime or the entire game, it keeps you up to date of what they're doing. I mean, the guy takes a shot, and the betcast I saw, as soon as if he makes it, it tells you how many points he has so far.
Yes.
So that's perfect.
PointsBet is also this past weekend for the Final Four. They did a live streamed, I guess you can call it a sports psychology panel. To analyze the game itself, the players, body language. During the games, they're going to have, because we're taping this before the Final Four here over the weekend. They're going to be having in-depth analyses from Northwestern University professor of sports psychology, Dr. Michelle Caroulis, a body language expert, Scott Rouse, Carlos Boozer, the former NCAA and NBA player. And the head of odds at PointsBet, Jay Croucher. And they're going to be exploring, or they did explore, but I'm past tense here. They explored how, as the game progressed, how the different situations impacted the players, and how that also would impact Carlos Boozer, because, and I hope he won this, by the time this airs, we'll know, he put a huge bet on one of the games, and they're going to be analyzing his body language through the game.
Okay, all right.
So that is a very interesting idea.
That's a lot of information that you're getting there.
Everything runs on data. You said it, so you said so yourself.
That's pretty specific.
And last but not least, we have Genius Sports making another deal for data with this time with Resorts World Bet. In New York, so another sportsbook deal for Genius Sports, and also another New York book. Still waiting on the Ballybet launch too. That'll be interesting to see what happens when the 9th one comes into existence. And very quickly before we get out of here, 2 Deadwood casinos and an internet sportsbook company have each been fined $3,000 by the South Dakota Commission on Gaming for accepting illegal bets.
Can't do that.
The illegal wagers included accepting bets on college basketball games involving South Dakota State University. Which they can't do.
So they have that same rule as New Jersey. Yes. You can't bet on the colleges and universities in your state, huh?
And also future games on the NCAA basketball tournament before the competition field was set. So I guess if you had like an empty bracket and you said you're going to do this game, this game, this game, you can't do that until they actually are in that part of the bracket, I guess. I don't know. And also 2 other people were fined individually for manually overriding the bet limits. for the place wagers.
All right.
So they have that in effect over there too as well, and it's good to see the system's working. As always, please keep the press releases coming in, info@turnpikesportsradio.com. If you've been watching this on TV, there are additional stories on the ticker as they fly by down at the bottom of the screen. And also, after this show is released, you're going to see a full print version on our blogs, turnpikesportsradio.com. Click on the blog button, and you will see the blog there, the full print version of the book report there.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.